Ladies and gentlemen, $300 can get you an Xbox, $300 can get you a nice pair of shoes, or it can get you a 2006 Chevrolet Cobalt with 201,000 miles on it. The only logical decision is to buy the Cobalt. And here it is. This is my 2006 Chevy Cobalt. It's the LS trim, and I can reassure you that it has absolutely no options on it. It's not very pretty, and it's not very presentable, and it's probably going to kill me one day, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But here it is, finished off in a rusty orange exterior. No clue what the actual color's called, don't really care either, but here it is. Like I mentioned, it's the LS trim, which is very conveniently the base model. Yeah, has 15-inch poverty caps on it. Walking up, they're a 4x100 4-lug wheel. There's a big old-fashioned steel wheel behind there, and then your 5-spoke chrome. Whoa, sorry, I had to catch myself there. 5-spoke plastic wheel covers. So I don't actually think you can even get a new car with hubcaps anymore. So the Chevrolet Cobalt was the replacement for the Chevrolet Cavalier, if I'm not mistaken. And that car, I believe, was made up until 2004 or 5. And the Cobalt was introduced in 2005 and ran until 2010. The Cobalt also shared its platform with the Saturn Ion, the Chevrolet HHR, and was a direct rebadge with the Pontiac G5 and sold in Canada as the Pontiac Pursuit. So here's the Cobalt. The LS trim gets no fog lights, it gets those hubcaps. It also gets black exterior mirrors, manual everything. Manual locks, manual mirrors, manual windows. So this thing is just fantastic. And I bought it for $300. So the little story is that my dad's friend was kind of in the process of destroying it because I guess he has nothing better to do in his free time than destroy their cars 20 years ago. But yeah, I had told him that I totaled my BMW, and he was like, well, if you need something to drive, I can get you. I have a Chevy Cobalt. And I was like, you know, I'm good, man. I'm good. And then I kind of thought, I was like, how much money would he sell that to me? He's like, I mean, I'd give it to you for like $500. And I was like, all right, sold. Drive to his house, and I took a look at it. And, you know, I knew the guy on a personal basis, and he was like, well, are you sure you want it? And I was like, I mean, yeah, it's a solid little car. And I make fun of it. It's actually in decent shape. Like, I mean, I detailed it, and I do take very good care of it, believe it or not. But that's besides the point right now. It's very presentable besides the large dent on the hood and the large dent on the fender. But paint-wise, it's great. It's got a little bit of trim fading on the side. You can see that one of the hubcaps is a little messed up. And it's missing the wheel well trim on the inside of that left wheel. I don't know how that happened, but it's missing. Here it is. It's got some dents and dings, but overall, for $300, I mean, I think this is kind of a steal. So that's enough blabbering from me. Here's the key. It's got your good old-fashioned GM key fob. If this would focus, I'd show you. And no, it does not have keyless entry. I can actually reassure you. I just felt bad about myself and put that fob on there to make me feel nicer. Walking up to the Cobalt Coupe. The Cobalt is also offered in a sedan. Here it is. It's actually, like I said, very clean. I detail cars for a living, so I went ahead and gave it a good old detail. And looking up the door panel, yep, manual windows, manual locks. Doesn't get better than that. It's missing some trim. I have to go to the junkyard and fish out some parts for it. And it has your standard gray cloth interior. There's some mysterious stains that wouldn't come out of those seats, but I can reassure you that it's about 14,000 times better than how they looked when I picked it up. I was concerned sitting in it on the drive home. I think the steering wheel, because it's vinyl, when I took my hand off the wheel, I had like a muck on my hand, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna wreck the car. But here it is. You know, not too many stains in the floor. It's turned out pretty okay. Take a look at the back seat. There's some mysterious stain. You know what? We're not gonna We're not going to look at that. I think somebody just said, oh, new bodily fluid discovered. Yep, in the Cobalt it goes. So I really hope that's not true, but there it is. Manual seats, they're gray. A lot of gray, black, and a lot of plastic in this car. Like, I mean, that's some plastic. That's like rubber, vinyl, I don't really know. This is plastic. Yep, that's plastic. I just broke that. Missing some trim. The mirror's a little messed up. It's like delaminating. I don't know how that happened. The headliner looks disgusting. That dome light works when it wants to. And the door panel is kind of broken. It's got a crack there. I just broke that. But you know what? It's not too bad. This trim likes to come off sometimes. Yeah, there it is. See that? I don't know why it does that. And then your beautiful Chevrolet badge on the steering wheel. And without further ado, I think we should fire this puppy up. Beautiful. Starts up. Don't want to say well, don't want to say perfect, but it starts up. So pressing this cool little button here, this is the nicest technology GM could find back in 2006. You press that little information button and you can read through this little cluster screen. It has 201,000 miles on it. And your trip computer, why that's not focusing. Fuel economy, average fuel range, and you can reset it if you'd like. Something kind of that caught me off guard about this car is that it has automatic lights. That's kind of cool. And it also has daytime running lights. I was not expecting that. But yeah. Pretty cool. Taking a pano of the interior. When that engine started up, by the way, that is the 2.2 liter Ecotec 4-cylinder engine producing 147 horsepower. And I have no idea how much torque, but it's actually not too bad for this little car. It gets up and it goes because it's so light. But don't go over like 65 miles an hour, you might die. And then right here we have GM's finest 4-speed automatic transmission. Your emergency brake. The SS and the very base models, you could actually get a 5-speed manual transmission. So kind of cool. Like I said, the front speakers are completely blown out, so I'll give you a little demonstration. First of all, it sounds absolutely horrible, but the front speakers don't work at all, so hopefully your ears can balance out the sound. But yeah, not too bad. Go ahead and cut on the headlights and the hazards. And I would say that it has an automatic window, but they're manual, so you gotta roll them down. That's like a fun little game to play called Will I Cause a Fatal Car Pileup, trying to put my window down. It's kind of hard to do when you're doing 70 miles an hour. Oh, I gotta put the window down. Whoa, crank it down. It's a pain, like, but you know, your parents will tell you, well, that's how we used to do it back in the 80s. The headlights actually look great. I gave them a little sand and some polish. I also waxed it and compounded the whole car, so it actually shines up not half bad. That fender really, really irks me, like, with a passion. The previous owner, I'm not sure what he hit, but it's kind of all down the side. There you go, I'll give it one more dent for you. I don't know why I just did that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cobalt. So my original plan for this car was to, you know, flip it. And I was looking on Facebook Marketplace because that's where most people sell their cars. And I was like, you know what? This car isn't going to break $2,000. Anybody in their right mind is going to come out here and be like, you know, I don't really want my daughter driving around in this. I made a joke. I went and got a new tire put on it. Tire, not plural. Trust me, I can reassure you I don't have the money for a full set of tires for this car. That's the joke because I have a rule that I won't spend more than a third than what I paid for it. So because I only paid 1/3, I won't spend more than $100 on this car. Unless it's like catastrophic. But yeah, I got one tire put on it and the guy was like, how much do you think buy this thing for? And I was like, well, I don't know, like $300. And he's like, well, hell, I'll give you $600. My daughter needs a first car. He's like, you think this would be a good first car? And I was like, you want your daughter to live? And he was like, well, is it really that bad? And I was like, nah, I'm just going to keep it. But it's not hateful. It's really not. But yeah, halogen lights. LEDs were not quite a thing yet. I'm sure they were, but General Motors was not sitting down at their corporate table. Hey, Tom, I think we should put LEDs in the new Cobalt. Hey, Bill, what do you think about that? That's a great idea. No, that did not happen. It was, let's make the cheapest, crappiest, ugliest car that we can possibly make and then sell it for $16,000 and hope that nobody's teenager dies in it. The Cobalt from Chevrolet. Find new roads. You should really change the Cobalt slogan to like, find new potholes or find a new casket. I don't really know. I actually like the way the car looks from the front. From like right here. It looks kind of cool. I kind of like that. I like the front end. I like the headlights. The side's not half bad. The back looks terrible. It looks like an Impala and like a R32 Skyline had like a deformed child. It does not look good. It looks like that alien thing from Monsters, Inc. See, one of the hubcaps here is a little jacked up. I'm not sure why that's happening. Take a, you know what? Yeah, we'll pop the hood. It is a problem where it likes to overheat. So I gotta make sure that it's not gonna do that. Oh, we're good. That's a lie. It doesn't overheat. It just runs hot because it needs a thermostat, so. Oh yeah, right there. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is General Motors' finest. Ecotech 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine with, wait for it, 140, don't have an extra hand, 7 horsepower. That's right there. It'll take you from 0 to 60 in approximately 3 to 5 business days, depending if the check engine light's on or not. But yeah, here it is, the Chevrolet Cobalt. Now, fun fact, the SS version of the Cobalt, the actual cool one, was offered with a 2-liter supercharged 4-cylinder engine producing 205 horsepower and 200 foot-pounds of torque. Now, keep that in mind, 205 horsepower in this little death trap, that's kind of fast. Like, that's kind of crazy. I would not actually feel comfortable driving that. I think me and that light post would end up friends. So, you know. Plus, I have a bad habit of hitting guardrails, so you know how it is. But yeah, there it is. It's looks like it's got a little oil leak there. But you know what? Who needs an oil leak? No big deal. Runs and drives, and see, it's got an antenna on the back. That's kind of cool. Kind of rad. I really still despise of the way this car looks from the back. I actually don't even want to look at it anymore. See here, it's got some nice scratches from where it had some stupid trim here, and I got mad and ripped it off. And apparently it was glued on, and it ripped some of the paint off as well. So that's pretty cool. The trunk release is back there, kind of cool and hidden. So you got your Cobalt LS badging. The trunk. It's got a decent amount of trunk space for this little car, but, you know, not too bad. I've always thought this was absolutely hilarious. Look at how big the doors are. The doors are huge. I think that door is the same width as the front end of the car. Look at that. I think it might be bigger. It's a Falcon. We get to sit down on the stain-filled, mysterious passenger seat. All right, here we go. Let's hope I don't get hepatitis. Stepping in. The passenger seat is far more comfortable than the driver's seat. I think that's because this one has worn in, and like this thing here, it's not comfortable. I don't like it. The glove box, and there's a whole bunch of junk in there. But yeah. In the dash here, we have our radio. It's nothing special, I can reassure you. Some air vents, your hazard lights, your information screen, and those buttons that control it. I have a Bluetooth receiver in here because this was pre-aux days. Your emergency brake, a scan tool because the engine light likes to come on sometimes. 2 cup holders there, some storage, more storage, coin storage, 2 cup holders above the shifter, and then the most elegant fake chrome that Chevrolet could find is used right here. That's pretty cool. Nowhere else in the car though. Oh, that's a lie. The door handles. Kind of cool. We have our manual dimming rear view mirror. pretty cool. And then this cool little air freshener I found at Target. Yeah, that's pretty neat. I think that's worth more than the whole car. Oh, it had a visor mirror here. I don't really know what happened, but it's gone. It does not pass the visor test either. This thing likes to fall out sometimes. Oh, yep, there it goes. We'll just leave that up there. Your HVAC controls that work when they want to. And then I think that's kind of it. The car's kind of boring, so it's got some storage there. Door panel. It is the hardest plastic that sourced from General Motors. I don't know what. Oh, I think that's. I'm not going to even guess because I don't care. Your mirror controls. So kids, back in the day, when you didn't have automatic mirrors or power mirrors, you had to use these cool little things here. You can move it all around. Look how, whoa, whoa, whoa! Pretty fancy. So that was pretty ahead of its time. That's a lie. Take a look at the back seat. You know what? I don't even want to sit back there because I don't know what that is. You know what? I think someone died back there. I don't. We're just gonna go ahead and skip that. The front's nice though. The front's nice. Yeah. Runs pretty smooth actually. You'd be surprised. I was. Runs fine. Very quiet little car. Pretty solid. I mean, I will tell you, I make fun of this thing, but there's one thing you can't make fun of, and that's gas mileage. This car gets like 37 miles per gallon on the highway. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I was doing, I think, 65, 70, and it was getting 37, 35 miles per gallon. That's awesome. I mean, my Acura, when I do the dead speed limit, the most it will get is 22. And that is with the windows up, the radio off, the air conditioning off, and me driving on cruise control at 55 miles an hour. This car, I had the radio blaring, I had the windows down, 37. Here it is. I mean, you can't complain about that. But for $300, I mean, there's not really. I mean, what else are you going to buy for $300? Pretty cool. So yeah, here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this was GM's introduction to the newer styled compact car. And like I said, this replaced the Cavalier, and it also was sold as the Pontiac G5. So that is pretty cool. Let's go and see how this one sounds. Oh, that is gorgeous. Love it. Smells like it's burning. I don't think it's supposed to do that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 2006 Chevrolet Cobalt LS with the 2.2 liter engine in it, and it's mine. I now have two cars. I've had two cars, I think, on a couple of different occasions, but yeah, I finally have another one, and here it is. It's not pretty. It's clean. It gets great gas mileage. It's not very well taken care of, but it's mine. Its name is Ming, by the way. I figured I'd throw that out there. That was the first word that came to my head. I don't even think it's an actual word, but this is Ming, the Cobalt. And yeah, it's got this beautiful orange paint, and actually, it's kind of a cool color. I like it. You know, before we end the video, I'll show you some cool little character traits of Ming. The Chevrolet badge fell off, so I just plasti-dipped it. The fender is, you know, it's got some battle scars. One of them is from me, but the rest of them was from when Nick drove it through a cornfield. So, I don't know. The front tires are very bald. It has a nice collection of scratches all down the side. There's some more there. Another one there. One of the hubcaps is broken. Oh, yes, the scratches on the rear. Can't forget about those. Wow, scratches. It's got a cool little black Chevrolet badge. I found that at Goodwill. Thought that was cool. I think the smallest exhaust tip that I've ever seen on a car, and that hubcap is messed up. The trim here, I don't really know what happened, but it doesn't match at all, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, the inside, it's missing some trim. That is broken. There's the dome light just spazzing out. But yeah, you know what? $300, I can't complain. So here it is, 2006 Chevrolet Cobalt. I started calling it a Cobalt SS to make me feel better about myself. I was in the grocery store and I parked it, and somebody's like, that thing is really clean. What year is it? I was like, oh, it's a 2007 Cobalt SS. They're like, really? The SS? Isn't that the cool one? I was like, yeah, it's awesome. They're like, you put the smaller wheels on it? It's like, yeah, the previous owner sold the big SS wheels, but it's still got the LS3 in it, and it gets up and goes. I mean, it's got a top speed of like 160. And the guy was like, no way. I knew those things were fast back in the day. I had no clue they were that fast. That thing's awesome. And I was like, yeah, thank you so much. I love it. That was a fun interaction. I feel bad for that guy because he probably still sees this car around. He's like, oh, look, that's the Cobalt SS. Little does he know, this car is worth about as much as a shoebox, and it looks like a toddler built it. So there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, 2006 Chevy Cobalt LS. Thanks so much for watching.